It's Wednesday again.
Good
and every
morning.
Wednesday, what do we do, Ronnie?
We talk antiques.
What about it, Ray?
All right, it is antiques, and folks, we'd like to remember this is the program before Thanksgiving, not Christmas, but Thanksgiving, and we all need to be thankful that we still live in a nation that's free.
Yeah, and can celebrate Thanksgiving.
Exactly.
Right.
We may not have this time next year.
I guess you better go ahead and wish everybody. You know what our supervisor Nancy told us to be sure to do that, and just in case then we can still wish them a happy
Thanksgiving?
Yeah.
Yes, a very happy Thanksgiving.
In the close of the show. Don't forget, Ray, you got to do that again. And Nancy's listening.
If we don't do it, Nancy will be on us.
You got that right. Okay, today, since tomorrow is Thanksgiving, we're going to do a show about Thanksgiving. We're going to kind of give you the history, Ronnie is, and then we're going to look up some items like Thanksgiving decorations, Thanksgiving postcards, and that type of stuff. Is that right?
That's exactly right. And I wanted to also wish everybody happy Thanksgiving tomorrow. And I know many of you will be traveling to visit your friends and relatives, and we want to remember, to be safe out there on the roads and to be alert, because there's going to be a lot of traffic out on the roads this year. Fuel prices are low, and a lot of people are going to be traveling.
The lowest since what? 19? Over 19.
In a long time.
2004.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's what they said.
Yeah.
I paid $1.70 something for a gallon of gasoline yesterday. Can't even remember when I done that.
It does put a lot of money back into the economy. And what I've watched, I watch the news because I get up so early in the morning. I watch the news for 2 or 3 hours at a time. But they said that what people are doing, they're taking that money and they're going out to savings. They're taking that money and going out and eating and stuff, and they're actually saving some of their money.
Yeah.
They're not really going out and shopping like they thought they would with But you think of how many billions is saved with fuel prices down like they are.
That's true.
Cents, adds up.
Well, our president thought that we were saving a lot because he didn't give us no Social Security this year.
Well, evidently we didn't need it, did we, Ray?
No.
We don't need
it.
Nah.
Traditionally, Thanksgiving kicks off the holiday season. It's a day for giving thanks for the blessings we've received throughout the year, and it's one holiday that eventually brings every American together for eat, drink, and fellowship. And it's a day when we see family and friends that lots of times we don't get to see as much as we'd like to, and it's normally celebrated with a meal of some sort. The Thanksgiving meal is one of the things we're going to talk about this morning. Actually, how the recipe books and the magazine articles have shaped our Thanksgiving meal over the years.
Well, you need to tell them about the Pilgrim's myth. Go ahead and just tell them that's not what created the Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no.
You mean Ronnie's gonna stir up trouble?
Yeah, he's gonna stir up trouble. It did not start. Thanksgiving did not start from the Pilgrims.
Thanksgiving, as we know it today, has little to do with the Pilgrims who prayed and feasted on June the 30th, 1623, after Captain Cavendish showed up with his British boat full of life-saving supplies for the starving colonists.
Right.
It was actually President Lincoln acknowledged President Lincoln's idea in October 1863. Not long after delivering the Gettysburg Address, he proclaimed Thanksgiving Day as a national holiday. But now that was just a proclamation.
Yeah.
It wasn't signed into law or anything.
No. And you'll get into that, I'm sure.
Yes. Thanksgiving actually began in concept when a female editor promoted the notion in magazines. Starting sometime around 1827.
What was that female's name?
And her name was Sarah Hale, who later became the editor at Godey's Ladies Book in 1837. She published articles and recipes promoting the idea of Thanksgiving Day to her readers, and especially to American politicians. Now, Godey's Ladies Book, let's see here. Sarah Hale, she died in 1879, and became the editor of Godey's in 1836. She would have been
Was she
40,
she
43
still
at
the
the
editor,
time.
wasn't she? When she
Yeah,
died?
yeah, she was, huh? She sure was. She would have been 43 when she started. And the ladies' book, it promoted women's rights and social inequality and education for American women. It had recipes. It had lots of important articles about women's issues. The magazine's pre-Civil War circulation was 150,000, and
Which is if you think about it, in today, that's a lot. 150,000. Just think about
that's a lot of people.
when it was created. Though, think about how the postman had to deliver all those magazines and stuff. I mean, we're talking about Pony Express, that type of delivery,
You say
horse and buggy.
Pre-Civil War, 150,000. That's a lot of people. Yeah. It's considered
Yeah.
one of the most important resources of the 19th century American life and culture. The day of Thanksgiving would, if observed nationally, soon be celebrated in every part of the world where an American family was settled. If the third Thursday in November could be established as the day, but now when it was actually established, it was President Roosevelt in 1941 who established
It
Thanksgiving.
became federal law.
As a federal law. That's right.
Keep going there, Ron. You're doing a good job.
Well,
I mean-
we've got just a little bit ahead of ourselves there.
Well, you go on and circle around.
That's
then.
all right. Lincoln's proclamation stated the new holiday would be celebrated on the fourth Thursday in the month of November, not the third.
Yeah, but the lady wanted it to
She
be the
wanted it-
third Thursday.
She
and
wanted it to be the third.
She was adamant about it being the third Thursday.
Very adamant about it.
It never happened in her lifetime.
I don't know why I always thought of it on the 25th. I guess I put it with Christmas like that for some strange
Yeah.
reason.
Yeah, well, the fourth Thursday was chosen in honor of George Washington, who had asked that Thursday, November the 26th, 1789, be a day of public thanksgiving and prayer for the new nation.
Uh-huh.
You know, after
So
the
that was-
Revolutionary War.
So it's really George Washington. He was kind of promoting it, wasn't he?
That was the day that he was wanting. He was promoting it as well too.
Yeah.
Well, it's great that we're having this show, really, because I tell you, our country has forgotten what Thanksgiving means.
Oh yeah. And that's why we're educating them.
Yeah.
Where it originated. And,
Hale's work to achieve a legal Thanksgiving holiday was not successful in her lifetime.
no.
And the concept would rise and fall for about another 66 years of political debates and date changes. And like I said, finally President Roosevelt signed the resolution on December the 26th in 1941.
That's during the war.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, World War II.
I didn't know that. I learned something myself here. That making it a federal holiday to be celebrated the fourth Thursday in the month of November. And by the 1890s, Thanksgiving dinner was not only celebrated at home, but also served in restaurants. And some of the things on the menu,
Yeah, you're getting into the menu side of it. I know you're going to tell them what the restaurants had, but to me it's amazing how the commercial side just took off like it did. Where the restaurants realized, hey, we need to do this. To pick up the extra bucks here at serving Thanksgiving dinner. Go ahead, there, Ron.
well, okay. Some of the things on
I'll tell you what. Before you tell them what was on that restaurant menu, let's take a break and we'll get back here in just a few minutes.
All right.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
Shelton Lane Antiques in Manchester has over 5,000 square feet of antiques for treasure hunters to explore. They sell vintage clocks, gas pumps, signs, furniture, and glassware. They have over 3,000 vinyl records and a fully stocked 1950s-style general store. Owners Harold and Ruby Shelton have been collecting unique items for years, and you can start or complete your own collection today at Shelton Lane Antiques. Open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 100 Shelton Lane, just off 16th Model Road in Manchester, Tennessee. Come look around and plan to stay a while at Shelton Lane Antiques, where we sell antiques, but the history is free.
We're back now.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving. Ronnie,
You heard that, Nancy?
try to stay on track. See what happens. Here's the problem, Ronnie. You're used to doing scripts, and I'm the off-the-cuff guy, so you're going to have to learn to be able to be on off-the-cuff and do the script. Go back to your script.
Both ways.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm trying to keep us safe with Nancy.
Yeah, you got that. You're doing good at
somebody's
that.
got to
Thank
keep
you.
us safe.
All right, so
We
now we're
were-
going to be in. We figured out that these restaurants can make a little money in it. Is that where we're at?
Yeah, and
in
we
the
were
1800s?
talking about some of the things on the menu. The Grand Central Hotel in Helena, Montana, served a 10-course Thanksgiving meal in 1890 that included turtle soup, broiled Puget Sound salmon with butter, young turkey stuffed with chestnuts, accompanied with cranberry sauce and sugar, corn, broiled duck on toast, filet of beef with mushrooms, and a saddle of antelope with pear marmalade. A choice of fruit meringue pies and rich ice creams were offered for dessert. But a rich Thanksgiving plum pudding with Benedictine sauce was the crowning glory, they said, of the feast. Okay, now a year later now, in 1891, the Ladies' Home Journal food writer, Maria Perloa, described how more simple yet delicious Thanksgiving dinners could be made at home. And this is one of the things we want to talk about, is how these magazines shaped the Thanksgiving menu, how books and magazines of the time, recipe books and women's magazines and home journals, and how they influenced, what we have on Thanksgiving Day.
Well, you just got through saying that her circulation was 150,000.
Mm-hmm.
If you do the multiple of that, I'm sure it did influence.
And not just hers, but all the others too.
I mean, hers alone though was 150,000.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, back. Now you can work right back to where you're at.
All right. She recommended turkey, since the bird was indigenous to the country. For side dishes, she suggested boiled potato balls served with parsley and butter, mashed turnips, French peas and lima beans and white sauce, and glazed sweet potatoes. A long list of condiments were suggested for the dinner table: pickles, cranberry sauce, and vegetable salads. Next came preserved ginger, buttered salted almonds, and candied cherries, arranged on platters that should never be removed until the guests have left the table. After dessert, she wrote crackers and cheese should be served along with strong coffee in small cups, adding sugar and cream are offered with it but seldom used.
Now, today, I mean, to me, that menu from the restaurant and then her menu, like, what did you say mashed?
Are you talking about the potatoes? I was talking about glazed sweet potatoes.
Yeah.
But I like mashed potatoes.
Yeah,
myself.
I do like. Well, the mashed potatoes, you know, I mean, that's kind of typical with the Thanksgiving now.
Yeah,
you
and
know, the dressings and the corns and the green beans. It's entirely different, you know, than 100 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, and those glazed sweet potatoes sounded real good to me. But, you know, here's what I think, you know. And, you know, most people had gardens, you know, as recently as, 10, 20 years ago?
Well, that's still people has gardens today. But
I mean, you know, everybody would have
everybody.
one. Maybe 30 years ago, you know, it was common.
Well, especially, you know, out in the rural, it was real common. Even in the cities, if you'll notice some of the original plats, those plats were large enough that they might be narrow, you know, lots.
But they were long.
They were deep, so that they could have gardens and, you know, stalls for their animals, their chickens, you know, until they passed a law that you couldn't have them in the city.
Yeah, you know, and people would have stuff that they put up, you know, and of course, you know, they started suggesting domesticated turkeys in the books instead of the wild turkeys. A journalist for the Delineator complained that with such a heavy meal in the afternoon, you didn't eat again until breakfast the following day. So, so there's little wonder that the next morning brings a bad headache from, you know, where you fasted because you ate so much, you know, the night before, which made good sense to me. In 1903, Josephine Greener was the food writer for Harper's Bazaar. In her column, she called for a return to traditional recipes that are not overly fashionable and modern. By 1910, newspapers and magazines instructed sensible women that this is where the domesticated turkeys come in, to raise their own domesticated turkeys in lieu of using the wild birds for Thanksgiving. So I was looking for that date. It's 1910. Recipes also included, let's see here. That's not what I wanted to say. Recipes including culinary, I don't know. They urged women to be empathetic to friends who are otherwise alone in the world, or college students who are not able to return home with their families. That's where those magazines were asking people to invite people into their homes, you know, for the Thanksgiving dinner. If there is among your friends a washerwoman who works hard to feed and clothe her children, a seamstress whose earnings barely covered her needs, if there was orphan children who you were interested in, you wanted to see to it that you shared with them. Thanksgiving, in an unobtrusive way, to sing good cheer. And the woman that wrote that, his name was Margaret Sangster, and the Women's Home Companion in 1910. Another new concept, now this was I found interesting, and it's still going on today, that began in 1910 was that Christmas was just around the corner from Thanksgiving, you know, and it was about this time when Thanksgiving Day first marked the beginning of holiday parties, special confections, Christmas trees, gift making, and shopping. All that would be celebrated until the coming of the new year. Now, I think that Black Friday is a more recent concept.
Well, they just expanded on it, hadn't they?
Yes. Now, I did find some actual Black Friday advertisements from as far back as 1910.
Really?
I really did. Huh?
Well, that's real interesting. They was already thinking about The retail side, I was already trying to figure out how to get on the bandwagon
Well,
as far back as 1910.
That's when that started. Yeah, Marjorie March, writer for the Modern Priscilla, gave detailed instructions for designing place settings for the Thanksgiving table.
It looks like to me the main thing you need would be a fork and knife and a plate.
Well, she wanted them to take fancy gourds and
Yeah,
cut
I
them into
know.
flower bowls and
Right.
make these little gifts out of them to give to everybody.
And they use bright colors too, right?
And they would put vines across the tables. And so, they'd have to go out and a lot of this stuff, they got locally, and a lot of this stuff they'd have to go out and buy. But a century ago, the home cook might have one made. And so publications printed Thanksgiving recipes that were considered easy to cook. One of those publications, like we was talking about, was the Modern Priscilla magazine. They offered a recipe for the usual roasted turkey, but with a new sausage, onion, and bread stuffing recipe by Fannie Farmer. You ever heard of Fannie Farmer? Evidently, I looked that up last night.
Yeah.
And
We could ask our buddy Google, see what he says about it. Or she, whichever you
there
want to
you
call
go. We can chime in on that in a minute. The fatty sausage used in the preparation kept less talented cooks from drying out their birds and overcooking their turkeys, which was a common blunder and still is.
Yeah.
Especially if I have to cook it. You get a lot of dry birds. In 1918, President Herbert Hoover and the United States Food Administration launched a campaign to promote strict food budgeting because of shortages created by World War I. When the armistice was signed on November 11th that year, the delineator had already gone to press with its Thanksgiving color illustration in full color depicting two American women dressed in Army and Navy military attire. That was another Thanksgiving first.
I tell you what, with that, let's take a break.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
Shelton Lane Antiques in Manchester has over 5,000 square feet of antiques for treasure hunters to explore. They sell vintage clocks, gas pumps, signs, furniture, and glassware. They have over 3,000 vinyl records and a fully stocked 1950-style general store. Owners Harold and Ruby Shelton have been collecting unique items for years, and you can start or complete your own collection today at Shelton Lane Antiques. Open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 100 Shelton Lane, just off 16th Model Road in Manchester, Tennessee. Come look around and plan to stay a while at Shelton Lane Antiques, where we sell antiques, but the history is free.
Happy Thanksgiving again.
Yeah,
You're doing a good job, Ray.
Atta girl, Nancy.
Okay, we asked our buddy Google who Fannie Farmer was, and here's the deal about Fannie Farmer.
Yeah, I was really interested in Fanny. Who is she?
Yeah, well, she was born on the 23rd of March in 1857. And what makes her so famous was that her cookbook. Fannie published her best known work, the Boston Cooking School Cookbook, in 1896. Her cookbook introduced the concept of using standardized measuring spoons and cups as well as level measurements. So when you hear the men and the women talking about cooking using cups and spoons, and well, she's the one that come up with the concept.
That's common in all of them nowadays.
Oh yeah. And let me see what else. It sounded like she had a cooking school that she created in 1902. I mean, she was a busy lady. It said even the last 7 years of her life she was in a wheelchair, but she still went to lectures and wrote and come up with recipes and so.
And taught them how to produce consistent food every time.
Yes, yes, and she gave her last lecture 10 days before she died, so she was really adamant about cooking.
Really active lady.
Yeah.
And intelligent.
Okay, so that's who Miss Fannie Farmer is.
All right, I'm glad you found that, David. We were talking about how in 1918 President Hoover launched the campaign to promote the strict food budgeting because of the shortages created by the war.
Yeah.
You know
You're
how
talking about
they did-
World War One,
World
too.
War One's what we're talking about.
Right.
You know how they did that?
How?
I mean, I'm asking you a question.
Well, they had. I know in World War II they had ration books. So you had to take, even though you had the money to go buy, like say sugar, you had to have a coupon that says you could buy a 5 pound of sugar or 2 pound or 1 pound. And I'm sure there was other things in the ration book. And I'd say if they had the ration books in World War II, they probably had them in World War One.
And I guess
Not only food, but gasoline, tires, anything.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, the tires, yeah.
That would have probably been based on what? How many's in the family, or how many coupons you got? Would there had to be based
No,
on
they
something.
probably didn't do that, Ronnie. They probably just had they'd issue a coupon book to the family.
And that was it. No
yeah.
matter what size the
Yeah.
family.
I'd say that if you think about it, wouldn't that be kind of hard to do?
Yeah, at that
you'd
time.
have to interview. Yeah.
At that time, it would.
Yeah, you'd have to have a heck of a database.
Yeah, but that's interesting.
That took a lot of paper and pencil.
Yeah. Food was heavily conserved in general around that time. But there were special government rulings about the use of wheat and meat, butter, fat, and milk. Government in the government conservation plans. But by 1928, Thanksgiving again celebrated the opening day to the Christmas holiday season, and most of the publications skipped Thanksgiving almost entirely by that time. The Modern Priscilla cover that year led off with 100 ideas for Christmas gifts. So we were getting commercialized by then. We are really commercialized nowadays. I'm already seeing Christmas ads and.
No, you're not.
Oh yeah.
I just played a Christmas song. It's everywhere. The Christmas radio station started like a week ago. 3 or 4 days ago, they said they wanted it early, so they're playing 24/7 Christmas music before Thanksgiving.
That's what I mean. It's on
Hey,
TV
you-
too as well.
You do know I'm kidding, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Thanksgiving has been left behind
It
many
really has.
years.
He was being sarcastic.
Oh yeah, no, it's just
No,
interesting though the commercialization, how quick
Yeah.
people they just skip Thanksgiving and
Well, it's all about sales, Keith.
yeah.
That's exactly right. We've thought this nation has forgotten about what really matters.
Black Friday, you said talking about Black Friday earlier. Do y'all know why it's called Black Friday? With the stores, they're in the red, or they're in the red. They want to be in the black because black is good.
Right.
Red, you're in the negative. Go Black Friday, they get their sales better.
Well, a lot of stores generate the biggest part of their sales.
Black
You know,
Friday's like
in-
the top day of sales for, especially when you're in the red all year. That puts you over
Between
the top.
Thanksgiving and Christmas, the holiday season.
I'm impressed.
That starts the.
You might be young, but you're kind of smart.
Thank you. We love Black Friday shopping. It's crazy. Actually, now Black Thursday, I guess.
Yeah.
Will it back up to Tuesday or Wednesday before it's over with? Or,
Someone
or
said
will it
Happy
be-
Thanks selling was tomorrow.
Okay.
Well, a lot
It's sad.
of a lot of people get up after their Thanksgiving meal and go shopping. They have the family there and their sisters and
We used to
the
midnight,
kids.
4 a.m. Now it's 5 at night tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Walmart opens up at 5.
A lot of them have their midnight madness sales, they call it.
Yeah.
All they do.
In the world, yeah.
Now it's earlier though.
Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's sad. No family time.
Yeah.
Exactly
Which
right.
is really what it's about to begin with. Is, family getting together and enjoying the holiday and giving thanks for what they've, the blessings that they've got that year. Is really what it's
You're thankful
about.
one day and the next day you're fighting over something you don't need.
Exactly right.
Or fighting in a store over a toy.
Oh yeah. Thank you God for our blessings on Thursday, and then Friday you're fighting over that Barbie dream house for your little girl, and women getting fist fights.
Hey, listen, you better believe it. They'll kill each other over something.
It's sad. We kind of go to people watch. It's a lot of fun
Yeah.
and sad.
Yeah. But I mean, you always see it. But you always see on the news though where they've arrested people for fighting
Yeah.
and.
The Walmart worker trampled to death.
Every year you hear something. And they'll be waiting on the store to open, and people do get trampled.
Boy, listen, the
You have
Bible
big
comes
crowds
alive
in front
during
of the
this
door.
time of the year. You know what? If my people, just think about it.
That's
Go ahead,
right.
Ronnie.
All right.
Sorry.
No.
No, that was great,
That's really
Keith.
interesting and right in line with what we're talking about here. World War II ended with V-Day on September the 2nd, 1945, and Thanksgiving that year was all about food, with the anticipation of the end of the food rationing. Although war rationing was still in effect until 1946, a black market existed where people could buy meat and sugar on the sly, at highly
Reckon they
inflated
sold,
prices.
Turkeys on the black market.
I'd say they they sold everything else, didn't they?
Yeah, I'm sure they did sell.
Good point.
Black market.
Thanksgiving menus and recipes published that year, they have a familiar ring to what we consider traditional today, which is, roast turkey with sage dressing, gravy, biscuits, mashed potatoes, cranberry orange sauce, watermelon pickles. I don't consider that traditional. Sweet potatoes glazed with marmalade, buttered cauliflower, and pumpkin pie.
But you were right about one thing, that sage dressing. I mean,
yeah.
everybody
has dressing.
Yeah, but with sage in it.
Yes, Yeah, it wouldn't be dressing without sage.
No, not to
In
us.
my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah. But, these, today, recipes are passed down, through the family.
Mm-hmm.
Back then you got to think, it wasn't a traditional holiday. We said it had to be done by presidential proclamation until 1941. So, there wasn't much tradition there for us.
Mm-hmm.
But, since 1941, families have been celebrating it nationally on a regular basis.
Right.
And the recipes have been passed down from mother to daughter to granddaughter.
Yeah.
And that's basically the time period that we're at,
Well, one thing about holidays, no matter what holiday is, there's always the commercial side of it that sees value in it.
Yes. And it's getting to be
How much
more and
time we
more
got
in
for
every
this
holiday.
We can go right
Even
now.
Halloween.
Why don't we do that, and when we come back, we'll talk about some of the value added. Like we went to completed auctions on some of the Thanksgiving decorations, Thanksgiving postcards, and then we'll let you finish up the rest of your little story here. Or not little stories, it must be a big story.
Well, we've got a little left.
All right.
The Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester has been voted as having the best hamburgers in Manchester. Hometown atmosphere, historical memorabilia, and of course those great burgers, salads, chicken, and so much more. It's the Jiffy Burger on the Hillsborough Boulevard in Manchester. Call in orders at 728-4452. You can also order at the convenient outdoor curb service. Hamburgers are made the old-fashioned way at the Jiffy Burger, Manchester's finest hamburgers. Open 7:30 until 9, Monday through Saturday.
We would like to thank Dr. David Florence for supporting Let's Talk Antiques. See Dr. Florence at 804 Kalon Street in Manchester for all of your medical needs. Call 728-5522 for your appointment today. Most insurances accepted.
Shelton Lane Antiques in Manchester has over 5,000 square feet of antiques for treasure hunters to explore. They sell vintage clocks, gas pumps, signs, furniture, and glassware. They have over 3,000 vinyl records and a fully stocked 1950s-style general store. Owners Harold and Ruby Shelton have been collecting unique items for years, and you can start or complete your own collection today at Shelton Lane Antiques. Open Wednesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. at 100 Shelton Lane, just off 16th Model Road in Manchester, Tennessee. Come look around and plan to stay a while at Shelton Lane Antiques, where we sell antiques, but the history is free.
All right.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Yeah, well, thank you, Ray, for telling me. Boy, I tell you what, Nancy has got to be proud of me.
Nancy's got to be proud of
Do we
me.
have a phone call? Okay. Well, while he's checking on that, we was talking about Thanksgiving decorations, and so I
Yes.
went to Completed Auctions, and Philip brought me a picture of it's what it is. It's two pilgrims. This is yard ornaments, but
Right.
these are high dollar yard ornaments. Two pilgrims, an Indian, and a turkey. The pilgrims and the Indian are about 3 foot tall. The turkey's about 19 inches tall. That brought $360.
Now, were those lighted?
Yeah,
Some of them are lit.
So I knew, yeah, that's what I was thinking. Some of them were.
yes, they are lidded.
Yeah.
Lit. Thanksgiving yard. Here's another one. Two pilgrims, an Indian, and a turkey. Don Featherstone. He must have been an artist that created them.
Company too.
Do we have a call? Okay. Anyway, $325 with 21 bids.
Good Lord, there was a lot of interest in that
Well,
one.
and here's a turkey, outdoor turkey lit up with LED. He brought $301. And let me see here. Here's another one of those pilgrims, and quite a few of those. That's $195. And let me see here. Here's a white painted metal turkey. Now, it brought $159.
Just a metal turkey.
Yeah. Well, let's see what else we got here. Of course, here's an arrangement, $139. He's talking about all the bright colors and
Right. Is that for a table arrangement?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Here's two resin give thank pumpkin outdoor for Thanksgiving, $139. And it says on the pumpkins, give thanks.
Yes.
All right, here's another one here with a turkey and a scarecrow buddied up. They're 6 foot tall though, $131.
Well, that's a big
Yeah.
piece there.
Oh, here's a nice, here's a stained glass lamp for Thanksgiving, and it's $122.
Does it say, what's it say on it? Just,
It don't say nothing.
It's
It's just
just,
yellow and orange, and the Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Here's some more decorations. Like those bright colored leaves and a pumpkin.
Right.
$119. Here's a wreath. $116. Oh, here we go. Here's an 8 foot blow up lighted turkey. $109. What is that?
Thanksgiving feast holiday vintage Barbie doll.
Oh yeah,
vintage Barbie doll.
$169. I think Barbie, she's in all facets, isn't she?
yeah, all walks of life.
And here's, of course, there's a lot of that type of stuff here, but it's mostly the outdoor stuff.
I found a 1900s paper mache candy container that was, a turkey that had metal legs.
Yeah.
He was made out of paper mache.
Yeah.
He had 11 bids and brought $255.58.
Was that German?
1900s.
Yeah, Germans.
Did
they
you
made
see
a lot
that
of
on
paper.
there?
No, but I know that they make it a lot of paper mache decorations.
Yeah.
I know she had a plate over there too, Ron.
And they're desirable too. Oh, yeah, I've got several things.
go
here.
ahead.
I found a Johnson Brothers, because women are particular about what they serve their turkeys on.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they want something really nice. And I found some nice plates on there. This Johnson Brothers was a 19-inch oval plate. It had 7 bids and brought $75. And I found a Blue Ridge China, and it had a picture of a turkey and some haystacks and acorns on it. And it had 9 bids and brought $102.50. And I found another Johnson Brothers. Now, Johnson Brothers is an English company.
Okay.
They're from England. It was called His Majesty, and it was 17 inches and had 6 bids and brought $92.99.
You know, before you quote any more prices, I don't know.
I'll let you.
I don't know if I
See what you
did. I
had
say
there.
this about Dick and Dean Langford.
No, well, we
You know,
wanted
that
to.
was both of our mentors.
Right.
When we first really got in, I've been always a collector, but I really got strong in the early '90s, and thanks to Dick and Dean Langford, you know, he's the one that told us that if you want to get the best price out of something that you have, sell it when it is, like Thanksgiving type, Halloween type. And he was always right.
I learned a lot from
Yeah,
Dick.
Dick and Dean too. Both of them
Yeah,
were
you know,
really good
and
at
she
it.
would cook us Sunday dinner. Remember that country
Yeah.
ham every Sunday morning?
Yeah, you couldn't.
Gravy. You couldn't beat
I
'em.
really miss those two.
I do too.
But they helped us a lot far as learning this type of stuff.
And Dick knew too.
Yeah,
Dick was smart.
yeah. Go ahead. You had some more things there.
I had some advertising
yeah.
pieces for Thanksgiving. A 1948 7-Up soda pop bottle topper. Now this was a turkey. A little cardboard turkey sign. Is about 10 inches tall and about 6 inches wide.
That sit on top of the
Set on-
bottle.
yes,
That's why they
uh-huh.
call it a topper.
And it said "Fresh Up for Thanksgiving" on it.
How about that?
Had 5 bids and brought $22. I found a Campbell soup flag that had two pilgrims holding a turkey. You know, just like 2 little pilgrim kids, and they were both holding a turkey. And it said "Happy Thanksgiving" on it. It brought $25. But now the most interesting thing that I found was, and they wasn't expensive, was just milk top caps. You know, the little caps that went on the tops of your bottles of milk?
Yeah, now you're talking about cardboard caps.
Yeah, I'm talking about cardboard
Yeah,
caps.
they went in like the quart bottles and the small bottles like at school.
Right, and they said "Happy Thanksgiving" on them.
know.
So you know, you got your milk that morning, you know, because back then they delivered it,
Yeah.
you know, and that morning it would say "Happy Thanksgiving." I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
I
How much
didn't-
they bring?
One of them brought $7.50. The one that had the picture of the turkey on it and said they had Thanksgiving Day, and then there was one with a picture of a pilgrim. Brought $3.34. They weren't expensive, but I thought they were really
But you think
interesting.
about it. You're talking about something that you pull off of the top of a milk jug.
Right.
You remember them, don't you? Right. And you just throw it away.
Yeah, that's something that
Had a
I
little
didn't-
little thing where you could get your hand on it sticking up,
Yeah.
so you could pull it out, pull the milk.
That's something I didn't know that they done.
Yeah. Do you have some other things too, or?
Well, we've got just a little bit more on our story that we were talking about after the baby boom, post baby boom. And it's just a little thing about how the Thanksgiving holiday featured school plays at that time with lots of little pilgrims in crepe paper costumes.
I think everybody listening can remember when they had to play part of that. They was either a pilgrim or something.
Yeah,
I remember it.
That's about when that tradition started. Although dinner menus continue to reflect traditional recipes from the 40s, the new emphasis in the 50s was on bacon and sugary holiday treats. That's where the cookies and the pies and all that. Of course, you know, they've always had desserts, but
Well, they trying to replace that with celery sticks now and cottage cheese. And,
are they really?
yeah, we want to eat healthy.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
We've already heard the story from you about your cottage cheese. We know that you like cottage cheese.
I'll tell that over there at Christmas.
Well, there's always, pumpkin pie or something like that, on the Thanksgiving table.
Hey, Ronnie, I was sitting here and I noticed here's an embossed postcard now. That's another way that postcards, in the 40s and 50s and right on up to the 60s, well, they were a big thing. People would send the postcards.
Right, uh-huh.
Here's an
They send
embossed
e-cards now.
postcard. It's got a little Indian girl with a turkey and a pumpkin and stuff. It brought $96.
Good Lord.
But now here's 43 vintage postcards, and they brought $89 with 33 bids.
A lot of 43. That's a lot of there's a lot of interest in that one.
Yeah. And so let me see. Here's a lot of 40. That meaning there's 40 cards in this, and it had 14 bids, and it brought $80. Oh, here's one by itself. I don't know. Hold to the light, and it's got the American shield and the eagle, and a little girl that's dressed looks like in a little sailor outfit with a turkey and all that. She 13 bids, $78.
Good Lord.
Yeah. Let me see here if there's any. Here's another one had 200 postcards, and it brought $80. Even the postcards. Some of the individual postcards are real expensive, like we just quoted here. Here's a 1912 postcard, brought $55.
And I think postcards are something that'll probably be bringing more and more money in years to come because they're not sent as much as they used to.
Here's a set of 6, Ronnie, postcards. And it's got children and turkeys and all that. There's 6 postcards. They brought $48.
For 6 cards, that's good money. Probably more than that. Well, that's more than they cost new.
Yeah. Here's one with a little Indian maiden and a turkey. She brought $41. Just the one card. So, if you want something to collect, holiday postcards would probably be a good thing. Vintage postcards.
Right.
Whether it be Christmas or Thanksgiving or.
They put a lot of time and
Halloween.
effort in those cards back then too. They wouldn't just, they run 1 million of them and send them out to
And
a
we're about out of
Walmart.
time. We got 2 minutes, Ronnie, so you better talk fast.
Yeah.
You got anything else you want to say since I interrupted you?
Well, since you interrupted me, I'll go back to where we started there. We were talking about the cookies.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the cookies.
You better talk fast.
Okay. Said Thanksgiving Day nearly slipped to the sidelines as the media frenzy with cookie bake-offs began. Publications featured dozens and dozens of holiday cookie recipes back then. Why not have a cookie decorating party and award a prize for the prettiest? Why not raise money at a cookie bazaar? Why not serve the children cereal cookies with fruit juice and milk for breakfast? Or why not say goodbye to partying weekend guests with a basket of cookies wrapped in multicolored cellophane? That was in The Good Housekeeping in 1957.
Yeah, but dog.
Yeah.
Shoot, let's just have a big happy Thanksgiving, eat sugar, and have got a big time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let the kids be kids.
Eat all we can eat,
And
gain
be
a lot of
thankful
weight,
that
and then
we
work
still
for a
got
month to try to
freedom.
get it off.
All right, Keith, we're out of here, aren't we?
Happy Thanksgiving, Nancy.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving, Nancy.
Everybody. Happy
Everybody,
Thanksgiving,
yeah,
Nancy.
Happy Thanksgiving.